If you're a deep feeling, highly sensitive, overthinking mom who really wants to build lasting self-worth and confidence, and you know figuring out your values is a key way to do that, but you're so disconnected or you're so busy, you have no idea where to even start with figuring out your values. I've been there, and now I've become obsessed with figuring out easy, practical ways that moms like us can figure out our values now in the midst of all the chaos of modern mom life, so that we don't put this off till someday, because our ever after is now. So today I'm so excited because I'm going to introduce you to the method I created. It's called the Tiny Creativity Method. It's all about clarifying your values through quick, low-stakes creative acts that fit into your daily life. So you don't have to overhaul your whole life. You don't have to go to expensive therapy. And it's all about clarifying your values through quick, low-stakes creative acts that fit into your day-to-day with a little help from ChatGPT. So it's all about figuring out your values without having to overhaul your whole life, spend a ton of money in therapy, go through all your trauma. No, it's such a way to access your values in a super fun, lightweight way. Okay, so let's jump in. But before we do that, if you're new here, my name's Diana. I created Ever After Is Now because there is no magical someday where someone's going to come rescue us, or there's going to be a perfect moment for us to invest in ourselves and our dreams and whatever it is that we want to do that we're putting off. There is no special day. Today is the day. And that's why I created this. For other deep feeling moms done waiting for someday. So let's jump into the Tiny Creativity Method. I'm so excited to walk you through this because this is exactly what I needed when I was trying to figure out my values. And this is just such a fun, lightweight way to do it. And you don't have to have a ton of time or special supplies or like hours of therapy, nothing like that. We're going to use modern technology. We're going to use AI to help us clarify our values through quick, low-stakes creative acts that are going to fit right into your busy day and not add an enormous amount of extra stuff to your plate. But the outcome and the output you get is going to be clarity on your values. Clarity on your values is the foundation to build lasting self-worth, and lasting self-worth is the foundation to growing your confidence. Let's jump in. Here's a table of contents. It's 8 quick slides. If you want a copy of this deck, I'll put instructions in the comments or captions below on how you can get a copy of the slides so you can reference it later. So first we're going to do a tiny bit about me. I want to share a bit about my context and why I made the Tiny Creativity Method. Then we'll talk about what is the Tiny Creativity Method and how it works. And I'm going to walk you through a demo of how to do it with ChatGPT. And then we'll talk about how you can share and inspire others. So tiny little bit about me. I'm Diana. I'm a deep feeling, overthinking, recovering people pleaser, and I'm a working mom of 3. And I got a late in life OCD diagnosis, and it explained so much about all the struggles that I've had growing up. So growing up with OCD and a daughter of immigrants, my self-worth and confidence were very, very low. On the outside, maybe it didn't seem like that because I got good grades and I figured out how to be a good girl. But inside, my self-worth was very fragile because it was based on external validation, what my parents wanted, how other people reacted, people pleasing, and all that stuff. Once I became a mom, I'm like, okay, I need to figure this shit out because I do not want to model this for my kids, and I'm exhausted. I literally had no more bandwidth to be people pleasing all the time. So I went on a deep dive. I read books, podcasts, therapy. I really hyper-focused on how can I build lasting self-worth. And I learned this really simple truth that probably a lot of people already know, but I didn't. And it's that knowing your values, meaning what you care about, is foundational to lasting self-worth. Because when you know what you care about and you start making decisions based on those values, you're telling yourself, I matter, my preferences matter, my needs matter. So even if the outcome doesn't go as expected, your confidence might be shaken up a bit, but your self-worth is not affected. Your self-worth is not tied to the outcome of something, okay? So it's like a shift that I realized. And so I became really, really obsessed with making sure I understood my values and tying back any decisions that I could to a higher value. It really has helped me build a sense of self-worth that I've truly never had growing up. So the power of values is fundamental to lasting self-worth, right? But what else is fundamental to mom life, modern mom life? We don't have time, we don't have money, we don't have energy. It's very, very limited, but we still need to figure out our values. So that's why I created the tiny creativity method. I'm going to get into more details about it, but I'm super excited because I want to share that I'm thinking about busy, modern, working moms that are struggling with self-worth and self-confidence and don't have a ton of time, money, or energy to invest in it right now, but they really need but they really want to figure out their values. So this is a really fun way to do it through creative acts. So let's jump in and I'll walk you through. So even though I did eventually figure out my values, it was really hard to do it. I did a lot of therapy, I did a lot of reading, a lot of podcasts, and that was really helpful. But I also know as a mom of young kids, we don't have a lot of time, energy, or money. So I really became obsessed to figure out a way to help other moms like me figure out their values in a more efficient, practical, and fun way. So that's why I made this. So what is it? The tiny creativity method is a simple, fun way to clarify your values and grow your self-worth without overhauling your schedule. It's about engaging in quick, low-stakes creative acts you can fit into your real life, like organizing a drawer or making a yogurt parfait, doing your hair in a new way. All these creative acts, they help you reconnect with your values, which are essential to building lasting self-worth. How does it work? By engaging in low-stakes creative moments, you lower the pressure and you free yourself to make decisions based on what you actually want, need, and prefer, instead of defaulting to looking everywhere else and people-pleasing. It gives you a safe container to practice making decisions based only on what you care about. And because no one else is depending on it or it's not anything high stakes, you get a lot of reps in. And over time, those tiny moments lead to big shifts in your values, clarity, confidence, and connection to yourself. So what's the not so tiny transformation you can expect? So before, meaning right now, this is what you may be experiencing. If you're constantly overthinking, second guessing, and putting everyone else first, you've lost touch with what really matters to you because of a lifetime of people pleasing and believing you had to make sure everyone else was okay before you were. And after this method, you will be clear on your values and make intentional value-aligned decisions every day. Your self-worth grows because you're living like your preferences matter and your confidence follows. You feel grounded, more like yourself. And if bigger creative dreams start bubbling up, you have the self-trust to go for them. It's really exciting how these tiny creative moments can lead to such big transformation. And then you're asking ChatGPT, and how does it work? It's 3 simple steps. First, find tiny creativity ideas. 2, do the thing. Then 3, reflect on what you did and clarify your values. That's it. I find that this first step, which says find tiny creative ideas, a lot of times as deep feeling busy working moms, we get stuck right here. We're like, well, I don't know what I should do, and I'm talking little ideas like, do your hair differently, walk a different way to school, make a yogurt parfait, something like that, right? And small things is what I'm saying. But you still get stuck on this because you're like, I don't know what creative activities to do. It's like, I'm very disconnected from my creativity right now. And this first step, which says find tiny creativity ideas, it sounds simple, but a lot of people will get stuck here because you're so disconnected from your creativity because of all the busyness of modern mom life, right? And that's why I created this ChatGPT prompt to generate quick, low-stakes creative ideas that'll fit into your busy schedule and interests. So what you're gonna do is take this whole thing here, copy and paste it, and you see where it's in brown, you're gonna insert your schedule there. It doesn't have to be every last detail, just generally your availability, and commitments and constraints. So here I put example of Monday, Friday, 9 to 5 work, 8 a.m. kid drop off, 6:30 dinner prep, etc. And interests, and then you're gonna list them. It doesn't have to be anything earth-shattering. It could be cooking, interior design, fashion, Netflix, whatever it is, right? And we're gonna ask ChatGPT, suggest 5 quick, low-stakes, tiny creative acts, meaning small, everyday ways to make change or combine something in a way that didn't exist before that I could do this week. Avoid anything requiring special supplies. I'm not trying to make you go to Michael's and buy stuff, okay? And that these should take 15 minutes max. Then go do the thing. Schedule a time, don't overthinking, just do it. In fact, make sure that it's imperfect. Keep it quick, low pressure, and imperfect. Then go back to ChatGPT and use the prompt below to reflect on that tiny creative act. You're gonna say, I just XYZ, right? I just took a picture of the scenery on the walk to pick up my kids. because that might be an activity that ChatGPT would suggest. It's a small, tiny creative act. And then you're going to write, ask me 3 to 5 clarifying questions to help me reflect on what I enjoyed or disliked about it without overthinking. It's going to ask you what you thought about it. Was it fun? Why did you like it? Etc., etc. Based on my answers, share what values are showing up. And then you're going to get a list of some values that ChatGPT is seeing reflected in the creative act you did and the choices you made within that creative act. And when you do this over time with these little creative acts, you will have a list of values. And this is just a really fun, low stakes way to figure out your values, because when there's nothing writing on it and there's no pressure this is how, as a deep feeler, you're going to have this safe container to practice making choices solely based on what you care about. It's very thrilling. And then your muscle for choosing yourself and choosing based on your values will grow and strengthen. So I'm going to screen share and go through this experience with you to show you how it works on ChatGPT. This is ChatGPT, and you can get a free account by going to openai.com and signing up. You don't even have to sign up, and you could use it as a signed up user as well. I'm going to take that prompt that we just discussed and paste it in here. And this is so simple. This is what you're going to do based on my schedule. Enter schedule here. And instead of putting that here, I'm actually just going to use this because this actually is my schedule. And you could even put ETC if you want. And then I'm going to put in my interests, which are not cooking so much. I do like working out, yoga, writing, and I do like writing and parenting. Okay, this is the whole prompt, all right? So let's see the ideas that it comes up with. Okay, so these are super fun and super easy. What do you think? Desk micro makeover. Rearrange 3 small things in your workspace. Swap a pen holder for a mug. Stack books differently. Change what's in your line of sight. You'll have made a new visual environment without buying anything. A recipe remix. Dinner prep. Take one dinner side you're already making and tweak it. Flow journal prompt. Pick up one random word from a book, text, or even the radio, or I guess a podcast. No one listens to the radio, right? Write 6 to 8 sentence micro story because I told it that I like writing. A yoga pose variation, a soundtrack swap while making dinner, make a fun playlist. So these are the kind of ideas that it's going to give you based on what you are interested in and your schedule. Then you're going to pick one of these and you're going to schedule it into your calendar. Then you're going to do it. And then you're going to, let's pretend I just did it, okay? Which I obviously didn't because I'm sitting here. But let's say I just did the desk micro makeover. Ask me, and let's see what it does. I'll show you. It asked me these questions. When you finished, what was the first thing you noticed? Did you keep anything exactly the same? If so, why? Which change felt the most satisfying? And what was it that you looked? How it worked? Which change felt the most satisfying? If you had 5 more minutes, what would you add? Did the process feel energizing, calming, or something else? So these are really thoughtful questions, and you can just answer them very off the cuff. It does not have to be well worded or anything like that. And so I have sample answers that I prepped for this demo, but it would happen this fast, and you don't need to necessarily copy paste the questions. I would suggest numbering it if you can, because it'll just help the AI kind of make sure to match it. But actually you don't need to even number it, but I'm just doing it just for demo purposes so you know which question is which. And you can see how simple my answers are, right? And let's see what it says about my values. Based on your answers, here are values that seem to be showing up. Simplicity and clarity, comfort and familiarity, openness and light, order and follow through, calm and presence. Yes, all of these really do resonate with me. And what I would do is I would really think about which ones resonate the most, go back and forth with it, and come up with like 2 to 3 that make sense. And you can see if you repeat this process, whenever you have time to do the tiny creativity method, you're going to end up with a really solid list of values that resonate with you. And it's not because you went through deep journaling or thought about your trauma or like emotional baggage, right? Which is a lot of times the way you're going to get to values in therapy and stuff like that. This is a lightweight way to do it with low stakes creativity. It's a more fun way to access. And it's something I discovered recently, and I'm just so excited to share about it. I hope you could feel that through the screen. So let's jump back into the presentation. Okay, so now what? Now you have your values. What can you do? Here are some tips to help you turn that clarity into lasting self-worth and confidence. First, live them out. Start making everyday decisions outside of the tiny creativity method with your values in mind. Each time you do, you're telling yourself, I matter, and your self-worth will expand and grow and flow naturally without pushing or forcing on yourself. Every time you do that, you're constantly telling yourself that what you care about matters. Also, it's very important to not be hard on yourself as you practice living with your values in mind. It's a process. You're going to learn how to do it. And as your muscle grows, it's going to become more and more second nature. And over time, your connection to yourself will deepen and your self-worth and confidence will grow and flow naturally. Another tip that I found to be super helpful in my journey in figuring out my values and then committing to living by them is by sharing your values with at least one trusted person. When you speak it out loud and share it with somebody, it creates this accountability and it increases the likelihood that you'll live out your value. So it's a very powerful tip. If you don't have somebody that you feel comfortable with to share, I'm actually working on a program to create this community and support amongst people trying to figure out their values through creativity and then live them out. So stay tuned and just follow and subscribe to my newsletter and you'll be notified of that when it's ready. And then here's a little warning here I want to add is that after you do this for a while, your forgotten creative dreams, like dreams from your childhood that you might have suppressed or just deprioritized, they're going to start to resurface because now you're doing more values and internal work. They're going to start bubbling up as you make more authentic choices for yourself. And now you will actually have the self-worth and confidence to pursue them. If that happens, I'm super excited for you. And you should definitely stay tuned to my Instagram and also sign up for my newsletter because I'm creating and working on a group workshop or a mastermind, not exactly sure the final format, but it's going to be a place where you will have support to explore bigger creative dreams with other like-minded people so you can make progress on living value-aligned creative dreams together You can make progress on living value-aligned creative dreams together in the midst of the busyness and chaos of modern mom life. And so in closing, before you go, I want to say, hey, share your tiny creativity. And in closing, I want to say this, kind of along the lines of sharing your values with a trusted friend or possibly a coaching group or workshop in the future. If you feel comfortable, post about your tiny creativity, tag me. I would love to cheer you on. I would love to see what you do. And I want to share it to my stories so we could inspire others about the power of tiny creativity together. So I put some examples here of the tiniest ways you could be creative. You could make a different kind of yogurt parfait. You could braid your daughter's hair differently. You could wrap a gift with a different piece of material, right? So it doesn't have to be big. These are little things, but every time you make an authentic creative choice, it is a peek into what you value. I hope you found that helpful. I'm super inspired and thankful that I got to share that with you. It was very thrilling. Send me any questions or comments by DMing me at everafterisnow. You could just also message me to say hello. Thanks for your time, and I'm super excited to hear how the tiny creativity method helps you.